The Young and the Restless spoilers shock. The shocking revelation that shook Genoa City, Amy's lost son and Nate's heartbreaking truth in a twist so shocking that even the most seasoned soap opera aficionados were left breathless. The Young and the Restless delivered a seismic narrative jolt that reshaped not only the lives of its beloved characters but also the very fabric of Genoa City itself. For years, Amy had been an enigmatic figure, a woman cloaked in pain, haunted by shadows, driven by a desperate, unrelenting pursuit of a truth known only to her. Many believed her obsession with Damien to be the key to her torment, a son she longed to reclaim, a maternal ache that never ceased. But now, in a bombshell revelation that no one saw coming, it turns out that Damien was never the child she lost. The real son Amy had been searching for, aching for, dreaming of, was none other than Nate Hastings. This revelation didn't come by way of confession or dramatic confrontation, but through the quiet precision of science. A routine, accidental DNA test, one of those strange twists of fate that only Genoa City seems to conjure, unveiled the truth. When Nate received the results, what was once a world of certainty collapsed in an instant. The lines that defined his identity blurred beyond recognition, and the woman he had seen as a mysterious outsider was, in fact, his biological mother. Amy. The woman whose name had once passed through town gossip as a tragic whisper, was now forever bound to him not by coincidence or fleeting interaction, but by blood. The magnitude of this discovery can hardly be overstated. Nate, a respected figure in Genoa City, a man with a poised demeanor and an enviable future, has never struggled with legitimacy. As a rightful heir to the Winters legacy, he has always stood with dignity and purpose. The weight of family heritage, wealth, and community respect have long rested on his shoulders, and he's borne them well. But now, with this revelation, those foundations tremble. The question becomes not whether Nate will retain his place within the Winters dynasty, but whether he can reconcile the life he's known with the truth he's just discovered. Amy's reaction was nothing short of soul-wrenching. Upon learning the DNA results, she broke down in a torrent of emotion, tears not of regret, but of catharsis. For a woman who had spent her life searching, hoping against hope, daring to believe that her son might still be out there, it was a moment that validated years of suffering. She reached out for Nate, clutching him with a ferocity born of maternal longing. In that instant, it wasn't about the years they had lost, or the lies that had kept them apart. It was about that one pure truth: she had found him. Her son. Her Nate. And yet, Nate stood frozen. The woman in front of him, sobbing, trembling, desperate for connection, was a stranger wrapped in the skin of family. He didn't grow up with her voice singing him to sleep, didn't feel her hand when he needed comfort. All his life, he believed he belonged to another story, one with its own tragedies and triumphs, but none that included Amy. The shock didn't just come from discovering who she was. It came from realizing that the story of his life was not what he thought it was. The betrayal wasn't from Amy, but from the man he had called father, who, if the rumors are true, abducted Nate as an infant, ripping him from Amy's arms in an act of unforgivable cruelty. That single revelation casts a shadow over Nate's entire life. The love he knew, the guidance he received, now potentially tainted by a foundation of lies. It forces him to question everything. Who was he really? What drove his so-called father to such extremes? Was it jealousy? Was it desperation? Or was it the misguided belief that Amy could never be the mother Nate needed? The answers are murky, and the emotional toll is staggering. The irony of it all is that while Amy had always searched for her son, he was never truly lost, only hidden in plain sight. And as for Damien, the man she once clung to as a possible connection to her past, it's clear now why he urged her to keep silent. Damien knew something. Perhaps he feared the truth would unravel too many lives, or perhaps he selfishly wanted to preserve the false version of reality they had built. Either way, his threats against Amy now appear less as manipulations of power and more as desperate attempts to maintain a facade that was crumbling from within. But what now? The question hanging over Genoa City, as gossip spreads and whispers grow louder, is whether Nate will accept Amy, not just biologically, but emotionally. Can he forgive her for being absent, even if it wasn't her fault? Can he see beyond the years they lost and find something in the present worth saving? Amy, for her part, is not asking for redemption. She only wants a chance. A chance to show the love that was stolen from her. A chance to connect. A chance to die, one day, knowing that her son no longer sees her as a stranger. This revelation, while shocking, is not without its possibilities. Nate, despite his stoic demeanor, is a man of compassion. He has navigated the tangled corridors of family drama before. He understands that love is not always linear, and truth often comes wrapped in pain. And perhaps, in some quiet moment, he will see Amy not as a symbol of upheaval, but as a woman who endured more than anyone should, and who still, after all the lies, the loss, and the longing, chose to reach for him. Whether this story becomes a tale of reconciliation or permanent estrangement remains to be seen. But what's certain is this: nothing in Genoa City will ever be the same again. Amy has found her son. Nate has discovered a truth that could shatter or strengthen him. And the viewers? They're left reeling, hooked once more by the masterful storytelling that keeps the young and the restless at the very top of daytime drama. In Genoa City's most unexpected twist this season, The Young and the Restless has delivered an emotional bombshell. Amy Wilson, long thought to be a peripheral figure in the sprawling Newman Abbott saga, is in fact Nate Hastings's birth mother. News of this revelation has sent shockwaves through both the show's narrative and its devoted fanbase. From the moment the writers first planted the seed that a clandestine connection existed between Amy and young Nate, viewers sensed that something monumental was on the horizon. Now, as the curtain lifts on this secret, Amy stands at the center of a reunion centuries in the making, her heart bursting with joy at the prospect of reuniting with the son she long believed she'd lost forever. Yet, amid her elation, there lingers a disquieting undercurrent. Devon Hamilton, Nate's adoptive father and Amy's sworn protector, refuses to accept the DNA results at face value. His instincts, honed by years of navigating Genoa's darkest underbellies, scream that there must be more to this story, a hidden agenda, forged by someone with a vendetta or a vendetta yet to be fulfilled. Amy's emotions in the wake of the confirmation have been nothing short of a roller coaster. In private moments, captured by hidden cameras and shared across social media by fervent fans, she has been shown weeping with a happiness so raw it transcends soap opera dramatics. Every tear tells a tale of decades lost, nights spent wondering if she would ever cradle her child again, and the crushing guilt of having been absent from his life. Her trembling hands clutch at the edges of photographs, one of Nathan Hastings, aged 5, wide-eyed and innocent. Another of her own young face, brimming with hope when she first held him in her arms. Yet despite the joy radiating from her every pore, Amy's public composure is fragile. She flinches at Devon's cautious gaze, at the way he crosses his arms and taps his fingers, as if measuring her sincerity on an invisible scale. To Amy, each gesture of distrust from Devon is a reminder that her path to redemption, and to acceptance by her son and his family, will be paved with more than just happy tears. Devon Hamilton's reaction to the revelation has been predictably vehement. Always the consummate guardian, he cannot abide the idea that a single stray DNA test could rewrite the history of a life he has loved and nurtured as his own. In a tense confrontation off-screen, later recounted through heart-pounding dialogue, Devon demands a new test, conducted under his supervision, with sworn affidavits and chain-of-custody protocols that would rival a high-stakes criminal investigation. Standing in the sterile environs of the Genoa City Medical Center, Devon's voice echoes through sterile corridors. "I won't jeopardize Nate's future on a half-baked claim. If Amy truly is his mother, we'll prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt." His words, equal parts fury and fear, underscore the stakes. Devon's fear is not only that Nate might be harmed by a woman who abandoned him, but that the very fabric of their family could come undone if this twist proves to be a cruel ruse. Behind the scenes, the show's head writers have confirmed that this reveal was meticulously planned as a sweepsweek scorcher, designed to tug at viewers' heartstrings and provoke streaming room debates. They spoke candidly about wanting to craft a storyline that feels both timeless and timely, a universal longing for familial connection, coupled with the bureaucratic and emotional minefields that accompany DNA testing in the modern age. Producers have hinted at tear-jerking scenes yet to air, where Amy's past sacrifices, of opportunity, reputation, and personal safety, are laid bare for audiences to judge and, ultimately, to sympathize with. The goal, they've said, is to evoke genuine tears, not just from Nate as he discovers the identity of the woman who gave him life, but from every fan who has ever yearned to fill in the blanks of their own family history. When Nate finally learns the truth, his response is as steadfast as Devon's is skeptical. In a raw, unscripted moment captured for the show's upcoming episodes, Nate grips Amy's hands and, despite Devon's warnings, declares that the DNA test's result is indisputable. My entire life has been a question, a blank page waiting for an author. These results are my prologue. You're my mother, Amy, no more labs, lawyers, or doubts. His resolve is palpable. Nate's voice trembles not with uncertainty, but with the fierce pride of a son who has found the missing piece of his identity. He embraces Amy in front of reporters and onlookers, tears streaming down both their faces, and insists that they celebrate this moment rather than question it. We've waited too long, Nate proclaims, to let suspicion rob us of what we've found. Still, the path forward is far from smooth. Devon's insistence on retesting DNA has already sparked rumors and gossip both within Genoa City's hallowed halls and among viewers online. Will another test confirm what has been so emotionally confirmed, or will it introduce new complications that fracture the Hastings family? And what of the external forces rumored to be lurking in Amy's past, those former allies who might have had a hand in conjuring this storyline to tear her family apart for reasons only they know? As cameras gear up for the next wave of episodes, it's clear that the question of trust will be as central in Genoa City as the question of paternity. Fans, armed with their own theories and hashtags, await with bated breath to see whether Devon's doubts will be assuaged or vindicated, and whether Amy and Nate's reunion will endure or be torn asunder by forces both in and out of their control. One thing is certain, The Young and the Restless has once again proven its mastery of classic soap opera alchemy, mixing long-buried secrets, high-stakes emotion, and the ever-evolving complexities of DNA science to deliver a storyline that is as compelling as it is cathartic. Regardless of how Devon's doubts are ultimately resolved, the emotional core of this tale, of a mother and son reunited against all odds, will long resonate with viewers. In the weeks to come, as retests are conducted, loyalties are tested, and hidden motives come to light, the true measure of Amy's place in Nate's life and in film history will finally be revealed. And for fans who have grown up alongside these characters, that revelation promises to be nothing short of unforgettable.